Here is something that should not really be allowed to happen. A brand new Ford Maverick starts at around $25,000. A loaded GMC Hummer EV will sail right past $150,000. And yet, both of them get filed under the exact same three-letter word: truck. That is like calling a push bike and a liter superbike the same machine just because they both happen to have two wheels and an engine somewhere. So today we are drawing the lines properly. 7 levels of pickup truck, starting with the cheap little runabout that sips fuel like a hatchback, and climbing all the way up to the 6-figure electric monster that weighs as much as a small flat. By the end of this, you will know exactly which level actually earns your money and which ones are quietly charging you for chrome, leather, and a bigger badge on the tailgate. Stick with me, because level 4 is where most people massively overspend, and level 7 barely counts as a vehicle anymore. Right, let us get into it. Level 1, the Entry Compact. This is the truck for people who do not really need a truck, and that is not an insult, it is the entire point. The 2 stars here are the Ford Maverick and the Hyundai Santa Cruz, both starting in the mid-20s. Here is the clever bit that genuinely confuses traditional truck buyers. These are not body-on-frame haulers. They are built like cars, unibody construction, the same basic engineering as a crossover SUV, with a little bed bolted onto the back. The Maverick even comes as a hybrid as standard, returning close to 40 miles per gallon in town, which is a number no full-size truck will ever see in its entire life. You get a small 4.5-foot bed, a comfortable cabin, and a price tag that undercuts almost everything else with a tailgate. People get this level completely wrong. They look at the size and assume it is a toy. It is not. A properly equipped Maverick can still tow up to 4,000 pounds, haul a fridge home from the shop, and do your daily commute without bankrupting you at the pump. What you do not get is serious payload, proper off-road hardware, or a back seat that fits 3 grown adults in comfort. But if you are a city dweller who wants the look and the everyday usefulness of a pickup without the running costs of a battleship, you start right here and you do not feel one bit guilty about it. Level 2, the mid-size workhorse. Now we step up to a proper truck with a proper ladder frame underneath it. This is where the Toyota Tacoma, the Chevrolet Colorado, the GMC Canyon, the Ford Ranger, and the Nissan Frontier all live. Prices generally run from the mid-30s into the low 40s once you add the trims that people actually want. The jump up from level 1 is bigger than the price difference suggests. You are now sitting on genuine body-on-frame construction, which means real towing, real payload, and the ability to take a beating off the tarmac without falling apart. Most of these now use punchy turbocharged 4-cylinder engines, and Toyota even offers a hybrid iForce Max Tacoma making well over 300 horsepower. The Tacoma is the king here, and it has been for decades, mostly because it simply refuses to die. People genuinely keep these things running past 300,000 miles and then sell them for half of what they paid when they were new. That resale value is the real headline at level 2. A mid-sized truck holds its money better than almost anything else on 4 wheels. These will tow somewhere between 3,500 and 7,500 pounds, depending on engine and setup, which covers a small boat, a couple of dirt bikes, or a modest caravan. The honest catch is fuel economy. A mid-sized truck is not actually much more efficient than a full-size one because the engines have to work harder to shift a similar kind of mass. So if you buy one, buy it because you want the manageable size and the bulletproof reputation, not because you think you are saving a fortune on petrol. Level 3, the full-size work truck. This is the backbone of the entire pickup world, and probably the most honest truck money you can spend anywhere. We are talking the Ford F-150 in XL and XLT trim, the Chevrolet Silverado 1500 work truck, the Ram 1500 Tradesman, and the GMC Sierra in base spec. Prices start in the low to mid-40s, and the no-nonsense work versions can be found for even less if you skip all the toys. This is the truck that actually builds the houses, tows the trailers, and turns up on every job site in the country. The F-150 alone has been the best-selling vehicle in America for over 40 years, and it is not because of clever adverts. It is because at this level you get a full-size bed, a genuine 5-seat cabin, towing capacity that can stretch past 11,000 pounds when properly equipped, and an engine lineup that ranges from frugal turbocharged sixes like the 2.7 EcoBoost right up to a thumping 5-liter V8. The trick most buyers completely miss is that the cheap work trim is often the smartest buy in the whole range. Vinyl floors you can hose out, hard-wearing cloth seats that survive muddy boots, a proven drivetrain, and none of the expensive electronics that love to go wrong at 80,000 miles. If you actually use your truck as a truck, this is the level where the engineering perfectly matches the price, and almost everything above it is increasingly about comfort and image rather than raw capability. Quick favor before we climb any higher. If you are finding this useful, the numbers say most of you watching are not actually subscribed, which means you will never see the next breakdown I do on which of these trucks are secretly money pits at high mileage. Hit that subscribe button so the algorithm stops hiding me from you, and then let us crack on, because level 4 is where the wallets really start to bleed. Level 4, the loaded luxury half-ton. This is where the truck stops being a tool and starts being a statement. It is the same basic vehicle as level 3 underneath, but now wrapped in absolutely everything that money can buy. The Ford F-150 King Ranch and Platinum, the GMC Sierra Denali, the Ram 1500 Limited, and the Chevrolet Silverado High Country. Prices here climb from the high 60s right up past $85,000 once you tick the big boxes. And honestly, the interiors are absurd in the best possible way. Quilted leather, massaging and ventilated seats, real open-pore wood trim, twin panoramic sunroofs, stereo systems with 20-plus speakers, and touchscreens the size of a small telly. The Ram in particular has a cabin that genuinely embarrasses some German luxury sedans costing twice as much. Here's the uncomfortable truth, though. Mechanically, a King Ranch tows the exact same trailer as a basic XLT. The engine is the same, the frame is the same, the brakes are the same. You are paying $25,000 extra purely for comfort, badge, and the way it makes you feel when you pull up to the curb. And that is completely fine if you spend 3 hours a day in the thing and you genuinely value that leather-wrapped silence. But be honest with yourself, a huge number of people at this level are buying far more truck than they will ever need, financing it over 84 months and using it to carry nothing heavier than a bag of shopping and the occasional flat pack. If that is you, the loaded half-ton is a luxury purchase, not a practical one, and there is no shame at all in admitting that is exactly what you wanted. Level 5, the heavy-duty hauler. Now we leave the world of comfort and step into the world of serious back-breaking work. This is the Ford Super Duty, the F-250 and F-350, the Ram 2500 and 3500, and the Chevrolet Silverado and GMC Sierra HD twins. These are not just bigger versions of a half-ton. They are fundamentally different machines built on much thicker frames with beefier axles and usually powered by enormous turbo diesel engines. We are talking the Ford Power Stroke, the legendary Ram Cummins Inline-6, and the GM Duramax, engines that make genuinely staggering amounts of torque. Some of these trucks now produce well over 1,000 pound-feet of torque, which is a figure that simply did not exist in pickups a generation ago. So what does all that buy you? Towing capacity that climbs past 30,000 pounds on the most capable gooseneck configurations. That is a fifth-wheel caravan the size of a small flat, a fully loaded car trailer, or a digger sitting on a deck. The people who genuinely need a heavy-duty truck know exactly who they are. Farmers, builders, ranchers, people towing horses or boats every single week. For them, a half-ton simply is not enough, and trying to make one do this job will quietly destroy it. But here comes the warning. If you do not regularly tow more than 10,000 pounds, you do not need one of these. The ride is harsher, the diesels are expensive to maintain, and the fuel and servicing bills are brutal. Buying a 3/4-ton diesel just to commute to an office is like buying a forklift to carry your weekly groceries. Level 6, the off-road performance truck. This is where pickups get genuinely ridiculous and genuinely brilliant. Forget towing, forget payload. This level is about going extremely fast over terrain that should completely destroy a vehicle. The headline acts are the Ford F-150 Raptor, the Ram 1500 TRX, the Chevrolet Silverado ZR2, the GMC Sierra AT4X, and the Toyota Tacoma and Tundra TRD Pro. Prices run from the high 50s for the off-road specials right up past $80,000 for the big hitters. The Raptor is the truck that basically invented this whole category, with its long travel suspension and Fox internal bypass shocks that let it launch over desert whoops at speeds that feel borderline illegal. Then Ram answered with the TRX and absolutely lost its mind doing it, dropping a supercharged 6.2-liter Hellcat V8 into a pickup to make 702 horsepower. That is a full-size truck that does 0 to 60 in around 4.5 seconds while wearing 35-inch off-road tires. It is genuinely unhinged engineering, and I love every bit of it. What you are paying for here is specialist hardware, wider tracks, reinforced frames, clever adaptive shocks, heavy-duty skid plates, and tires that cost a small fortune to replace. The catch is obvious. These trucks are thirsty, they are expensive, and the vast majority of owners will never take them anywhere more challenging than a gravel car park outside a coffee shop. But if you actually live near the desert or the mountains and you want a vehicle that can play as hard as it works, nothing else on the road delivers the same insane grin. Level 7, the Halo and Collector grade. This is where we stop talking about trucks at all and start talking about rolling statements that just happen to have a bed bolted on the back. At the very top, you have machines like the Ford F-150 Raptor R, which takes that supercharged 5.2-liter V8 straight out of a Mustang GT500 and stuffs it into a Raptor body for around 700 horsepower and a price tag well past $100,000. Then there is the GMC Hummer EV, an all-electric monster that weighs over 9,000 pounds, makes up to 1,000 horsepower, and can crab walk diagonally like something out of a science fiction film. It costs comfortably over $110,000 and accelerates like a proper supercar despite weighing as much as 3 normal cars stacked together. And then you get into the truly exotic, the tuner specials from outfits like Hennessy, the Velociraptor, and the Mammoth, hand-built beasts making over 1,000 horsepower and selling for $250,000. These trucks are not bought to do any work whatsoever. They are bought because the owner could buy almost anything and chose the most outrageous possible version of a working man's machine. They are flexes, status symbols, and in some cases genuine collector pieces that will hold their value precisely because so few of them exist. Practical? Absolutely not. Spectacular? Without a shadow of a doubt. So where does the normal buyer actually land in all of this? For most people, the sweet spot sits right between levels 2 and 4. A mid-size Tacoma or Ranger if you want manageable size and bulletproof resale value. A full-size F-150 or Silverado work truck if you genuinely haul and tow and you want the most honest value in the entire range. And a loaded half-ton only if you spend serious hours behind the wheel and you truly value the comfort and the silence. Levels 1 and 2 will save you money. Levels 5 through 7 are for people with a very specific job to do or a very specific ego to feed, and there is genuinely nothing wrong with either as long as you are honest about which one you are. The best truck is never the most expensive one on the lot. It is the one that matches the work you actually do, the miles you actually drive, and the budget you can actually live with. Everything else is just chrome, badges, and finance payments. If this helped you cut through the noise, do me a favor and hit subscribe because I break down cars and trucks the way they really work with no brochure nonsense and no fairy tales. And tell me in the comments, which level are you genuinely shopping at right now? And which truck would you put at the very top of level 7? I will see you in the next one.